Previously in the photo you saw, that's the box which holds all the components. I've taken all of the components out of the box. First, we have our power unit here. This is our diode laser unit with its handpiece connected. Also at the end, there's a protective cap, and we'll talk about that a little later on in the presentation. Next, we have a charger. So we want to charge that laser 24 hours before we start to use it. It will work on the Bluetooth. You have a laser, you have a pedal here, a rheostat, where you'll press down and the green light will go on when the unit is activated, and you'll know it's working. Okay, you don't have to have a wire connected if the laser is charged up. Next, we have protective sheaths. So in between each patient, you can take off the sheath, put a fresh one on, keeps for sterility. Okay, and there is a second handpiece which will come with the unit. So while you're sterilizing one, because these outer sheaths are sterilizable, okay, you will be able to use the unit and not run into any problems with it. Next in the unit, you have a bleaching handpiece, which we're not going to take out of here at the moment. It comes packaged like this. And we have a handpiece for biostimulation. There are particular settings which are preset in the system if you desire to use the unit for these particular types of procedures. Also included within your box of all of your armamentarium that come along with it are 3 sets of protective glasses, one for yourself, one for the patient, and one for your assistant. If you desire more sets of glasses, you can contact the company and you can purchase them. Lastly, we have tips. You come with a box of 30 disposable tips in a variety of sizes, anywhere from 300 to 400 to 600 micron, depending upon the procedures that you are going to do. I've taken the liberty of taking one of the tips out of its packaging. They look like this. They come with a protective sheath in the back, so you pop this off and then you can connect it to the laser, and I'll show you how to do that in a few moments. Lastly, we come with a whole bunch of paperwork. First, we're going to remove this. This is removed from the box with all the paperwork. This is our safety sign. This must be up in your office when you are in the operatory, when you are doing any laser work. There is a new safety sign which is coming out, which will be yellow instead of the red. As soon as we get those, we'll make sure that they're available. Next, we have a quick start manual. And with every unit, we have a Sterling Supreme, okay, owner's manual, which goes through the whole process of setup, etc. So if you forget anything that I'm telling you, you should be able to go back into the unit. Again, this is a 3-watt laser. The unit also comes with a list of presets, so you can see exactly if you want to modify anything that you have in your particular presets. You can see how the setups are on this particular sheet for every procedure you might want to do with this particular laser. And lastly, probably one of the more important things, you are provided with a training program. You're going to get 2 coupon codes. If you don't get them, please call up, okay, the representative, and make sure that it's available to you. You'll get one for basic laser science, which can be either for laser, basic laser for the doctor or for the hygienist. And then there's also a safety program. There's a total of 8 continuing education credits. Global Laser Oral Health provides Benco and will provide you with these CERT recognized credits, which are good in any state. You will be able to print out after you take the course a verification for your state certification, and also you'll have a nice certificate that you can put up on your wall. Right. We're going to remove a couple of the items from the table here because they're going to be in our way when we're showing you how to navigate through this high quality laser. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to put the protective sheath over the handpiece, and it should slide on very easily. Pull it down till it punches through. Now you notice that there's a protective cap on this particular handpiece. We take this off. Now it's important that after each procedure, the doctor does put this back into place because we don't want any dust coming into the area here. Okay? So first thing we're going to do now, we're going to open up. Now I'm going to show you what the tip looks like from start. It comes packaged just like this. Let's see if we can open this up here. Sometimes easier than other times to open. There we go. A little bit messy, but we have it open. See, here we have our tip. You see the little plastic housing on the back of it. This is a 400 micron tip. This is the basic one that we will be using for cutting. You'll see how easy it is. This will snap into place very nicely, right into place, and now we're ready to go to do any procedure that we wish. Next, we're going to show you how to turn the laser on. There is a button in the back, so we're going to turn this button on right here. So first thing we're going to do is, I showed you earlier, there's a button in the back. We're going to turn the button on, and then we should have a nice screen which will log in for us. In a second, it takes a moment. And you see we have our Sterling Supreme diode laser. We're going to have an enter area. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to press enter. The screen is going to open up. It's going to ask us for a login. We will get 4 numericals or numbers or whatever you want to call them that we can punch in. We have a preset 1, 2, 3, 4. I recommend you keep it that way, very easy. Press the enter button. And now we have our quick set menu. You'll see there's a whole menu of dynamics on here. You have your quick set, favorite procedures, specialty. First thing you're going to do is go to the quick set to set all your parameters up. We're going to press that button. And now we have on the first line, we have mode. So you can go in between. When it's in gray, it's the active mode. We can go to pulse mode, depending upon the procedures that you want to do. That's all based on your understanding of laser physics. So once you take the course or you have previous courses you've taken, you'll know how to utilize this. Now, we can do a preset. Usually when we want to activate our tip, and we'll discuss that in a few minutes, we leave it at 1 watt. And I'll show you how to activate in a little while as we move through the program that we're doing. The key thing is we have a timing dynamic in here. If we press this button, okay, we can adjust our time from anywhere from 5 seconds to 60 seconds, or if we don't touch it, it can just go on infinitum. So in this particular instance, let's say we want to set it for 5 seconds. We set it, it's done. So anytime you would press on the pedal, the laser would only work 5 seconds and shut off. This is a great dynamic for laser-assisted periotherapy. It allows the hygienist to be able to control the energy she's putting it in any particular moment. The last thing is our aiming beam. So we can adjust that. I'm going to hold the handpiece up here for you. You'll see that there's a coaxial beam. This is not a laser. We can adjust this beam in any particular dynamics. We can increase the intensity. We can decrease depending upon what you want, and you could shut it completely. Most people want to see what they're cutting. So I like to work in the mid-range. When I take my tip, you see that nice round circle? You should get a nice round circle, okay, prior to working. If you don't see that, then you'll know the tip is defective. If it's elliptical, it's not going to cut properly. So now you see all the components that are available to you in your quick set to set this up for you before you even start using the laser. Okay, now we're ready to go back to the main menu. You see on the left-hand side here, we press that button, and now we have this entire menu that's available to us. Initially, we had our quick set. For any procedures you're doing, you may want to work particular favorites. You could put this into the system. And now we have our procedure scroll. So for our basic procedures, we press this button, and we can scroll down for all different types of procedures that we may want to do. In this particular instance, we are set on contouring. So if we press this button, the laser is going to tell us exactly what it's preset. It's set on continuous wave. It's set at a power of 0.8 watts, and we haven't adjusted the time setting for this. And the beam, we've already set everything up previously. So once we have this all done, then we are ready to go. I'm standing behind here, and I do have my safety glasses on, so please don't be concerned. Now, when we're ready to go, all you do is you press the button here. So we press this button, and we are ready to go. The laser, as you'll see, is activated. Okay? All we have to do now is press on the pedal. Now, with this particular laser, the only way that you can get it to cut is to activate the tip. So I'm going to press the ready button. I'm going to shut this off for a second. Okay, now the laser is just sitting dormant. So in this particular instance, we haven't activated the tip yet. So we're going to turn this on. It's going to be ready. You see the beam is on. First thing we do, we're going to focus on this tongue blade I like to use. When the laser tip is not activated, and I press down, You're going to hear a beeping sound, and you'll notice nothing happens. Then we're going to stop. So in order to make this into a cutting dynamic, we're going to first deactivate the laser for a moment, and then we're going to use a piece of articulating paper. This articulating paper will be used to carbonize the tip. So we have articulating paper. We're going to activate the tip. Tip is being carbonized. Now we're going to show you, this is going to be a test to make sure you're properly activated. So you can see all around the laser is actually firing. It becomes a hot tip instrument. So it will cut. So without activation, it's not going to be able to do anything. The only time we use a non-activated situation is for periodontal therapy. And doctors, hygienists, whoever's using this will have some prior training or take training now to understand when to use a pulse dynamic, when to use activation, and when to use non-activation. The key thing is, again, when I talk about it's a timing mechanism, if you learn how to utilize it for particular procedures, specifically laser-assisted perio, you're going to see it to be highly advantageous over most of the other diode lasers in the marketplace. Now, the last thing we have specialty procedures. In the specialty procedure area, we have our cosmetic, which shall be our gingival contour or our gingival, I would say gingival contour designs. We have our dental hygiene. So if we press this button over here, you're going to see that there's going to be a whole menu of different procedures that could be done from a dental hygiene standpoint. You can do aphthous ulcers, remove dental sores, gingivitis, herpetic lesions. We're going to press the gingivitis button. It's going to give us a preset to show us exactly the amount of energy of what we're going to be doing. And we get ready to start, we will press the ready button here. Right now, we're going to keep it inactive because there's no point on this turning it on. So through this all, it's a pretty easy process to navigate through the system. You go in, you get your equipment, you unpackage it, make sure the laser is charged for 24 hours before you start using it. Then you go in, you do your presets. Let's go back to your preset dynamic here. Okay, so this will go back to the main menu. See, here we are. We're on our main screen. Our main screen is going to show us the presets. So we have our quick setup where you can adjust your time settings, your initial power settings. You can adjust your beam dynamics, how bright you want it or not so bright when you are working on a particular procedure. Right? So it's pretty straightforward. And we have our whole menu here. So just a quick review, because this to me is one of the most important parts. To go in there, set up the mode you want. If you want to work in pulse or you want to work in continuous wave, you're fine. The power, we can make our adjustments if we want to adjust our power initially to start without using a preset. This would be our setting where we could start working right away. We have our time dynamic where we could actually set this for 5 seconds. Let's set it for 10. We're good. And then we have our aiming beam. So we go through the whole process again. Let's increase our aiming. That's done. Now I'm going to turn the laser on. So we have all these presets. We go through the process. We're going to put it on ready. We've already activated the tip. Now theoretically, when I turn this on, it should only work for 10 seconds. That's it. Perfect. See, so it only stayed on for 10 seconds. I just kept it at one spot, which you would never do in the mouth. You're always going to move the laser around. So it's a pretty easy system to set up for yourself. So now we're finished. I think we have the whole dynamic set up for you. Now we're going to show you how to close down the laser. We're going to go over here, take care of that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to shut the back button off. The laser is off now. The reason we do that, so before anybody takes their glasses off, we want to make sure there's no accident and accidentally pressing down on the pedal and doing some firing. Okay, so here we have our laser tip. We snapped it on. Now we're going to snap it off. Now, once this is done, this becomes a Sharpie. You do want to dispose it. Next, we have our little blue cap, which we are going to put on, very important, in between the procedures. Now we know that the fiber is protected. We can next take off our sleeve. And if so desired, if we feel we've contaminated, we can kind of screw off the handpiece, put the other handpiece on, and take this one and put it into sterilization. We're going to put this back into place here. And you'll see how it goes nicely on. It magnets right onto the system. As we mentioned at the beginning of this program, we have 2 additional hand pieces. One is for bleaching. It comes with a 2-piece component. You take this, you put it on, turn it, it snaps into place, it doesn't move. So if you want to do any laser-assisted bleaching, we unscrew this. We take off our cap from here, pull it off, and we screw this into place. This is pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do this. Make sure this screws in properly, which it does. As you can see, we were able to put this on, and afterwards, at any time, we can unthread this, put any one of the hand pieces on or off, and with the magnetic device. So here we are. You've seen all the different components that the laser has. All we have to do when we are finished working, we just make sure we do shut the button off here in the back, and then disassemble everything and put the traditional handpiece back on place, and we're ready to go.